Good morning from a cold and windy Keremios. So this morning I've got a surprise for you and a little Bible study regarding mental health. And what I want to concentrate on this morning is how do we manage our thought patterns. So I've just got a quick few things I want to share regarding mental health that the Bible actually gives us the best instructions. But secular science have taken over so many stuff that's coming from the Bible. So regarding thought patterns is what I want to talk to you about now. In the secular world, you'll see they call it cognitive behavior therapy. CBT is a thing that people are often mentioning in the psychological world. How do you train your brain to think correctly? But that science is something that's coming from the Bible. So first, let's look at Romans 12 verse 2. Do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing and perfect will. So that is what we would like to learn, is God's perfect will. But it starts with transforming or renewing our minds. So I want to be very practical now, and we want to see results in our lives. We want to see that we're growing, that we're changing. So the first thing I want to mention is this problem that many of us have about negative self-talk. Or is it the problem with all of us? So often you just look at your faults and what you can't achieve, the mistakes you've made and what you cannot do. So if you dwell in that domain, then you dwell in the devil's domain. Because you're thinking of, what is the devil saying about me? What do I see from the devil's perspective? We need to come to what is the truth. What is God's perspective in all of this? If you think of all the stuff that you're a failure in, and you just keep on thinking of that, you're actually bullying yourself. You are a bully to yourself. You are a bully to the person that God has created in you. And this week we are celebrating the anti-bully movement. So if you're anti-bullying, don't be a bully to yourself as well. If we've done something wrong, if it's a sin that's wrong, that's not what God intends for us to do, then we confess that sin and we stop doing it. It's not good at trying to hide your sins. We bring them up in the open and we let God's light shine on that. And that way, when God's light is shining on the evil ideas of the devil, then like mist before the sun, it will disappear. So we also don't need to just suppress it and try to, we don't think about that, let's just forget about it. It's not that easy just to say, forget about something. First, the example I want to look at in terms of how to handle your brain. Let's go and look at the Psalms. I'm going to look at Psalm 13, which is one of David's lamenting Psalms where he's complaining. Oh Lord, how long will you forget me? Forever? How long will you look the other way? How long must I struggle with anguish in my soul, with sorrow in my heart every day? How long will my enemy have the upper hand? So this first two verses of Psalm 13, we see how David is just complaining. So he's taking the situations, things are going badly, things aren't well for him, and he complains about that. And then step 2 comes, verse 3 and 4, where he starts praying and calling unto God. Turn and answer me, O Lord my God. Restore the sparkle to my eyes, or I will die. Don't let my enemies gloat and say, we have defeated him. Don't let them rejoice at my downfall. So David's turned from first 2 verses complaining to the second 2 verses where he is praying. And then 5 and 6 we get that holy mind where we've got God's perspective. But I trust in your unfailing love. I will rejoice because you have rescued me. I will sing to the Lord because he is good to me. And the way David is turning here and just getting to the truth. I've heard the kind of joke that if the devil reminds you of your failures, just remind him of his future. Now that's not a biblical way to handle the devil, but it gives you the idea that we want to get the eternal truths and look at eternal truths, and that is what we're concentrating on. So the next point is bitterness, feeling sorry for yourself. Something went wrong in the past, you've missed out, you're in a situation where that's not enviable, and you just feel, okay, people has wronged you, or whatever is wrong in your life. This feeling sorry of you is based on entitlement, where you say, okay, I deserve more. And God, what is your mistake? Why aren't you giving me what I deserve? Now, entitlement is not something we can stand on. If you fully commit your life to God, He's your Creator, you owe everything to Him. Jesus gave His full life for you. So you've got nothing to claim and say, okay, God, you have to give it to me. If you give everything to Him, then you can start trusting Him. We see that in Matthew 5 verse 45, where Jesus said about God, God causes His sun to rise on evil and the good, sends rain on the righteous and the unrighteous. So don't expect that just, okay, the evil guys must suffer and I must get the good things. That is not the way God created it. And this is one of the truths. You want to have the truth in your life, so face the truth. We confess the truth. We choose to believe that. If you've got the truth if you take the truth in your mind, and then that will diffuse all the lies of the enemy that is tormenting you. You want to get God's truth in your mind. Another problem that people have with mental health is dreaming, fantasizing over sin. That is where all the temptations are coming in. About hatred. We don't want those negative emotions in our mind. And the best verse for that one that I like is in Philippians 4 verse 8. Whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. We can't just take the thoughts out of our mind and stop thinking. Now, some men has got the ability to think about nothing, just go to your empty box. And that's not the way that's working for most people. How we get rid of the evil thoughts is by replacing them with the good things. If we look here at Philippians 4 verse 8, all these good things, what can we think on that's applicable there? And one of the things that's always applicable is Jesus, God's truths, God's love. If you think of that, then you will think of all the things that's true, noble, right, pure, lovely, admirable. So concentrate on the good things. So in closing, I want to give you 2 steps. Step 1 is get the truth in your mind. Ask God what is the truth and choose to believe that. And step 2 is to concentrate on that. The Bible calls it meditate. So you've got to take your mind back to that and continuously think of, okay, what is the truth? What are the good things? And then lastly, we've got to put it into action. Now they say that God likes fat Christians, where FAT is an acronym for faithful, available and teachable. If you're faithful and you believe in God, you trust in Him, you're available, you say, yes Lord, use me, and you're teachable, you're listening, and you want to get God's teachings in your life, then you're a fat Christian. That's a good fat one. So whatever is happening in your life, take that, go and share it with somebody. Don't just keep it for yourself like the Dead Sea, where you've just got the inflow and you just learn more and more and more and more and get more information. But when you get the good things in God's life, phone somebody. When you talk to somebody, talk about it. Tell them what has happened in your life. This week I had a nice opportunity with one of my co-workers that I just knew her from official situations, and she's said something that opened a door for me. And yesterday I had the opportunity after a Zoom meeting, so I've never seen her in person, and I steered the conversation towards where I felt God has given me an open door, and we had a lovely spiritual chat. So look for the opportunities and tell people what God is doing in your life. God bless you, and we want to see God in your life.